Thothian Luciferians. Belial Sun Agenda, Luciferians. The Thothian Luciferians and their allies are organizing the next stages of planned takeover of all New Age, Ascension and Disclosure communities through planned infiltration, with their specific grooming of an assortment of Pied Pipers. This controlled opposition agenda will also extend to any 3D organizations and public leaders with some power and influence that are connecting the larger dots towards seeing and understanding the key players that are embedded in multiple levels of planetary corruption, such as the gaslighting and propaganda schemes that exist in the many facades of the geopolitical climate that are used as cover-ups to veil the exopolitical conflicts. In conveying the greater understanding of current events and who is behind them, let us return to the first major milestone in the planetary ascension cycle with the onset of grid wars. This is the phase when the negative alien agenda groups were put on notice that the ascension waves were indeed beginning to awaken the population on planet Earth, despite the electroshock equipment and fences they had in place as the net. For these organized groups that serve the Thothian Luciferian, Galactic Federation and related negative alien agendas, the most important goal was to ensure that the majority of the Earth humans would not awaken to realize that they were in a consciousness prison. Thus, it was very important to relay information that would divert people away from remembering what had truly happened to them, and how they ended up in the mind control prison. Harmonic Convergence begins Luciferian Task Force. Since the Harmonic Convergence in 1987, there has been a specific space task force assembled by Thothian Luciferians and the members of the Galactic Federation to fully control the information given to the awakening population, for the purpose of complete takeover of the New Age, Ascension and Disclosure movement. A comprehensive multiple-pronged, militarized approach was organized in order to gather and collect all of the technological and human resources that would be necessary to build an extensive artificial neurological network with silent sound technology. This would be used to target starseeds and indigos, as well as control all transmissions of channeled material that would be sent to the awakening population in the guise of friendly ETs, ascended masters, and even deceased famous figures in human history. As the ascension cycle intensified and humanity was being monitored, many friendly enemy deals were made to enlist the further support and resources of the reptile insectoid collectives, to cull the public into submission with implantation of assorted mind control techniques and technological fences. Although these groups have their own separate agendas, these enemy deals made them allies, and were primarily headed by the most hostile dragon moths and Zeta Draconians from Orion. Thus, many people on Earth were, and are contacted by human and non-human imposters, comprised from these operations that are in military alliance to gaslight and lie to the Earth people about many ongoing themes of global concern, for the purpose of intelligence handling and controlled opposition. These operatives have infiltrated many areas of the New Age, Ascension and Disclosure community. They are on the ground and in space, hidden behind the many false front organizations in which their primary job is to attack, dismiss and debunk unapproved topics through mass propaganda and character assassination schemes. The purpose is to take over any truthful information about the planetary ascension or disclosure event that happens to seep through the multi-dimensional communication gateways, when awakening people start to more easily receive telepathic transmissions from a variety of sources that cannot be prevented. Brotherhood of the Snake. Thothian Anunnaki groups organized a militarized style of psychological warfare tactics with the Galactic Federation to further prey upon the spiritual and emotional desires of a primarily Western Judeo-Christian population, to lead them into the false ascension matrix on the astral plane for soul capture during the death passage. The Luciferian Thothian groups currently transmit a range of twisted half-truths in ancient esoteric teachings of ascension to Guru and Seeker archetypes, that are purposely geared towards the consciousness enslavement of its audience. Many of the channeled transmissions are based in the information that was disseminated in the timeline of the Atlantean mystery schools, the Brotherhood of the Snake, which had acquired ancient written translations of stolen coded information in the Law of One records. These records were accessed and translated by Thoth and then subsequently repackaged through the release of the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablet transmissions into the New Age movement are heavily hijacked and embedded with artificial intelligence and mind control programming in order to attract those spiritually awakening with Atlantean or mystery school memories, and then tag and track these groups for mind control and spiritual oppression. Luciferian Covenant. The Snake Brotherhood kings during Atlantis made a secret pact called the Luciferian Covenant for the purpose of the total annihilation of the historical timelines and cellular memories of humanity, to wipe out all records of highly technological human civilizations that were naturally evolving and advancing human consciousness and authentic human culture. The eradication of all of the technology, memories, histories and identities during the advanced civilization of the Atlantean colonies on the Earth, is a conspiracy enacted through a blood covenant made with the Illuminati hybrid humans that make up the power elite and answer to the Thothian Luciferian groups. New Age Astral Bliss. One of the most appealing ways the Thothian groups have found to manipulate the New Age is to promote the states of astral bliss through the slick marketing of spiritual consumerism, which many people line up for like astral junkies to get a hit of false love transmitted from the astral plane implants while participating in these retreats. There is a manipulated state of astral bliss which is a type of emotional conditioning to activate addictive response patterns, while participating with many of the New Age group modalities that are hijacked by Thothian entities. There is a delusional psychosis that is spread and promoted to shape and reinforce very negative behavior as acceptable behavior in some of the New Age circles, in order to groom these people as hosts and sleepers for serving the Thothian Luciferians. Who is the original Lucifer? Speaking of selfishness and greed, in order to better understand the Thothian Luciferians, the entities and the Galactic Federation historical timeline tragedies on planet Earth, we must go back in time to discover the original meaning behind the title of Lucifer. The original use of the title Lucifer originates from the collective races that are from the Nibiruian lines of the Anunnaki races, that further merged with the Thoth, Inky Anunnaki and fallen Seraphim races. Thothian Luciferians highly prize playing the war game of conquest in which they are challenged by brute force and cunning strategies, fighting to win positions of power and domination over other races and planets. Hundreds of thousands of years later, not much has changed. The Thothian Luciferian groups and those with alliances in the Galactic Federation are the sworn enemies of all angelic human beings on the Earth, and have dedicated themselves to perpetuate continual warring agendas of human and Earth-based genocide. They desire to annihilate the original human silicate matrix DNA with the inner Christos, and further eradicate the original peaceful, love-based human culture by replacing it with their anti-human ideologies of war, blood sacrifice and self-hatred. Illuminati bloodlines. The Thothian Luciferians specifically groomed the Illuminati hybrid lines to be their representatives and to be the ground crew, carrying out the physical tasks required to gradually implement the consciousness enslavement blueprint of the New World Order, to be fully executed during the pinnacle stages of the ascension cycle. These human Anunnaki hybrids were conditioned, implanted and prepared to be the primary Luciferian bloodlines that would be assigned into the highest echelon of global planetary leadership, and would come to be known more specifically as the Thothian Leviathan or Illuminati bloodlines. Artificial Tree of Life. The artificial core manifestation template is built on base 10 math, and is an intentional distortion of the 12-tree grid manifestation template or Cathara grid that is built on base 12 math. This distortion to the natural order compromised the integrity of the universal tree of life core manifestation template, which is the basis of all energy to matter manifestation. Essentially, the Thothian Luciferian agenda was to utterly destroy all organic creation code, matrices and artifacts that included base 12 math and replace it with their own versions of base 10 math. The patriarchal slant and use of the artificial tree of life to project virtual realities distorted the original base 12 code into the base 10 code, eliminating the 12D ray, which caused a reality split between the artificial and organic layers. Throughout the dimensional timelines, there were sections of the dimensional matrices that remained organic, and others that split into artificial timelines and were absorbed into the phantom matrices. Spiritual betrayal of Blue Flame Melchizedeks. Thoth incarnated as an Egyptian priest repeatedly during the time that Atlantean mystery schools were flourishing in Egyptian culture during the Middle Kingdom. This was in order to maintain control over the Atlantean conspiracy held in place by the negative alien agenda since the Flood, and to be kept aware of the ongoing Guardian Alliance mission that was on the ground. Although he was the great Luciferian impostor, Thoth as a great Hermetic priest was passing off Emerald Order founder records, and the Law of One, sacred sciences it contained as demonstrations of his own high initiation level, purporting to be a Blue Flame Melchizedek. At the height of his Hermes lifetime in Egypt about 1,000 years after the Sumerian Egypt invasion, he was accessing the 11th dimension at his embodiment level. As a result, it appeared to the other Blue Flame Melchizedeks and high priests in Egypt that he was truly bestowed with the authority as Guardian Emerald Order Regent to oversee and direct Blue Flame initiations in the pyramids and underground temples. Instead, Thoth was committing a grave deception to those that trusted him as the Emerald Order representative to transmit Blue Flame frequency for the purpose of Christos spiritual initiation and Diamond Sun 12-strand DNA regenesis. Thoth originally sourced from the Anunnaki lineages, and felt they were genetically superior to the original, Taran angelic humans. When he ascended to the position of the middle layers of the 11th dimension through the embodiment of 11 and half-active DNA strands, he made the choice to lead the Anunnaki race lines into genetic superiority over angelic humanity by strategically aligning with the Wesa invaders.